Hello, coders. Good morning. Sorry for being... gosh, my throat. Sorry for being a wee bit late. I was making a cup of tea, which is the usual excuse, but then I poured it all over my desk. So I had to clean that up. Hence all the cleaning stuff. So today I am showing off the new look to the How to Code Well courses page because we've done all the content stocking in regards to creating all the courses, and I've changed all of the images of the courses as well, all the thumbnails, so it looks fairly different. It looks awesome. I think it looked quite jazzy, so I want to show that off. And also there's some bugs. All the content stocking has kicked up all the some issues. Now, I did just say that we've just finished the content stocking, but we finished round 1, so there's more rounds to content stocking, because there's a lot of stuff that we have to do in order to get the videos into places and all of that jazz. So it's going to take months, I think. Hence why I'm starting it now. Okay, that's enough talk. Let's get into the code. Whoa, sorry about that. I don't know what's happened there. I think I pressed the goodbye thing. Lols. Thank you very much. New guy, thank you very much, 263 for joining. Really good to see you. You're from Alabama. Nice. Sorry, I've pressed the wrong button on the on my stream deck, which says goodbye to everyone. Thank you for joining. I didn't mean to do that. Good. Let's what? I've lost my trail. Okay, so yeah, we started up Docker machine. I'm going to show you the front end for this. So if we go over to the portal, I think it's either there or no, it's not. It's in here, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so we've just started a Docker machine, and if I did my make file, make install local dev, we should be able to pull it all down. So I'm going to bring up another shell here as well. Oh yes, I must sort this out. There's a problem on my machine. It keeps diverting to an old version of Node. So yeah, I've sorted that out. Okay, let's run that again. Okay, so I also mentioned that there was some problems with there's some bugs. And I was thinking about it this morning before I jumped on. I think that some of the bugs are they're non-issues if I get rid of the functionality, and I was trying to think of justifications as to why some of the functionality is there in the CMS. So we might be doing a little bit of cleanup today, just to clean up the back end. Let's see if we can get that running as well whilst we wait for this to build. So that would be CMS local. He says as he waits for an eternity for his content management system to load. Fills you full of confidence. It's because it's in dev mode, and the containers need to be sort of warmed up. Okay, so let's log in. You can tell it's in dev mode because it's got all the Symfony bits and pieces. How are we getting on with this? This is still building. Come on. Okay, so this is the content management system, and one of the problems we've been facing is when we go and create tutorials and we add them to a course, their publish date changes, and I'm not sure why. And I was thinking about this morning. This is for the courses, and it makes sense to have a publish date for the course, but I think there's one, if I remember rightly. I really haven't looked into this. This was just reported. I need to. I haven't had any chance to. So yeah, there's a publish date. I haven't had any time because of all the other work that I do to actually look into this. So this is the first time I'm actually trying to replicate it. So yeah, there's a published date on each of the tutorials. Now there's 125 tutorials that we've got. And I was thinking about this morning. Is there a need for a published date on a tutorial? No, there isn't. There's a need for a need for a course. So just to go through what was wrong, when we edit a tutorial, this is still using Symfony. When we edit a tutorial, the published date changes randomly. What I was going to do today was create a series of integration tests to test it out. But I'm thinking, just remove it, because there's no need to have a publish date on a tutorial. And then I was thinking, well, what else can we remove if we're in that remove mode? So what I'm going to do is just edit this. How are we getting on with that build? Oh, it's done. Okay, good. Right. As I'm talking about this, we'll go through this first, okay? So we have... publish date. This is on a tutorial. There's no need for publish date on a tutorial. This was legacy. It's because there wasn't always a display order, which is the order of the tutorials. So I think we can get rid of this, to be honest. So we can get rid of this, and I think there was another one. It was the views, and I don't think we've got a view count in here. But if we go back to... So we're going to get rid of that, I believe, and I think if I went to show, as we wait for an eternity for it to, nope, okay, it's not going to allow me to do that. I'll have to dig in and see what's going on with that. But yeah, I think there is a view count. Yeah, view count on the courses, and I think there's a view count as well on the tutorials. Those can go because we've got we now have changed the functionality, so there is a view count associated with your user and the actual tutorial. So the view count isn't here, but I'm pretty sure it's on the entity, so they can go too. So that's what we're going to do, but first of all, let me just demonstrate the front end. So the front end's built in Gatsby, and I've just built it here. So let's just show you that. Let's bring that out into here, put this over there, paste that into there. Okay, cool. So we now have, if I go to the courses, we now have all the tutorials, and they all have their own little thumbnail, which I created late last night. And I think it looks miles better than it did, because it used to just have the same thumbnail as it did on the other platforms like YouTube and so forth. So this is actually a little bit more cleaner, I feel, these kind of things. And also, like, let's say, for example, I wanted to have a look at Docker for beginners. This is what it would look like when you get to that course page. So you've got the tutorials down this side, and then you've got the ability to start the course here. So become a member, log in, or continue as a free user. And then this would be the... it's a bit shrunk because the... just the way I'm streaming it at the moment, the size of the browser has been reduced down. New guy is saying, so what's your database type in this project? MySQL or Mongo? It is MySQL. Yeah, it is MySQL, and I've got some crazy, wonderful thoughts. Excuse me, in the future for putting Elasticsearch in as well. Because we've got a bunch, well, you know, we've got loads of things going on here. Like, for instance, there's like 17 tutorials there, there's 12 tutorials there. Each tutorial could be tagged in the future, each course could be tagged in the future, and then we could have a search thing going on here. So if you want to search for a specific thing in a tutorial, then it could highlight which course it's actually in, that kind of crazy mechanism. And it could also be doing some really interesting searches and other things. So and recommendations. Obviously, these courses are going to grow. This isn't all of them. This is the set that we've put through. Like I said, we've got many rounds of content stocking to do. So there is the courses that I've done for Manning and Pack Publishing, Manning Books and Pack Publishing to go as well. So these will be up here as sort of featured courses, because they would obviously go off to their own particular places. And there is a wee bit of design change that I need to do, especially around the home page. Can you see that's supposed to be they're supposed to be bigger rather than this size? And also I want to change the sizing and possibly even the fonts of the buttons and everything. It does look a little bit disjointed, but you know, I'm not a designer. I'm not a designer in the slightest. So it's yeah, it works for me. It's far better than it was, so which is a step forward, a step in the right direction. Okay, so I'm going to grab some tea and hopefully not slosh it all over the place, as I did make I turned my desk into a tea pond earlier. But essentially what you're looking at here is 4 years work of courses, creating tutorials and courses in these subjects. I also want to fix the order of this, because technically, where are we? PHP array. This one here. Technically, this is the one that we're actually publishing every Monday. So we're now on like tutorial 14. So there's obviously far more tutorials than this to update and put through. And this should really be ordered in by publish date of the course and not the tutorial. So what I want to do today then is fix the tutorial, the CMS, to remove the publish date and to look at the courses. And there was an issue I did see earlier. If I press show on this, it's going to throw an error. And I'm not sure why. So I tell you what we'll do is whilst we've got the this running, I can take a look at the system here, and we have no, the API. That's what I meant, not the system. There we go. And there's a make log critical. So if I was to refresh this, we should see, oh, no container found for API. Well, that's not good in the slightest. All right, let me just make a little bit more room, because nope, I always get that shortcut key muddled. Let's drag that up. So eval. Oh, it was because I didn't evaluate my shell. Oh well, never mind. I'll get there in the end. You know, I haven't even finished my first cup of tea this morning. So it's 7 a.m., 7:22 in the morning. So I'll get there. It just takes me a bit of time. What am I doing? Make log critical. There we go. Make log critical. So this is tail the logs. This is because I thought I fixed this. Am I not running the latest and greatest? This usually happens. Let me take a look. Where are we? We're on this here. So let's pull this down. Git repository pull. See if there's anything out of the ordinary. Maybe I haven't just pulled the changes down. All the files are up to date. I thought we fixed that. Anyway, I will put that as a bug, and we'll tackle that as well. So bear with me just a second whilst I bring up my my bug board. There we go. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to create a bug, and we'll paste in all of that. Is it three? It's 3, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Although this is... it's not, is it? Because this is Jira. And Jira is weird with formatting. I think I need to grab that and then go code and change that to be Java's fine, whatever, just put it in code block. So cannot open tutorial, or cannot show tutorial in CMS. So from CMS, click choose any tutorial. I can't spell tutorial. And I do this because just in case I don't have a time to do this, I need to record it. From the CMS, choose any tutorial, then click show. This is the output from the error log. Alright, let's hit create. We need to also make sure that it's assigned to me. We need to make sure that this is in the current sprint, active sprint. Yes, let's create it. And we'll see if we can, there's the publish date. We'll put that in because that's what we want to play with. And we want to also put that in as well because that's what we're going to deal with. These bugs. Can I ask a redundant question? Of course you can, new guy. What is your first programming language? My school uses C++. That's hardcore. I feel like this language is not for web my favorite field. Wow, C++ is your first language. My first language was Visual Basic, VB. And then that went to ASP, and then that changed to I guess from there, I mean, alongside that I was doing JavaScript and HTML and a bit of CSS, but I was only dabbling in those, right? My courses were mostly VB. Oh yeah, we did Java as well. We then did Java, and then after that, and then I did PHP. Yeah. I've totally forgotten all the bits and pieces in VB and all that stuff. The VB6, I think it was very... Oh, no. My first ever programming language, my typing, and I didn't actually know what I was doing at the time. I suppose you don't when you're your first ever one, is I used Basic. That was the first one, Basic. And I did that whole print, go to 10, print hello world, that kind of stuff. So the Tildon's saying mine was C++ and then C, but I know your problem. But PHP is easy to learn. Some of it is. It's a nice first language, at least for the web. But you can do it with C# programming for the web too. Yep. It just seems a bit sort of heavy-handed, especially for the first one. Yeah, many Windows programs are written in C++. Yeah. But hey, if you're learning C++, then you're going to have a nice foundation to work from. I learnt PHP and then I learnt Python. And I had to unlearn a lot of things to do with inheritance. I had to learn how to do it the right way. Let's not get into that PHP versus Python debate. Right, so... okay, so... course duration should be the sum of all tutorial durations. This is done because if I went to here, you can see that the tutorial durations are the sum. So 2 hours, 18 minutes, 11 seconds. That kind of stuff. There's one which is really small. It's only got 3 tutorials in it. It's excuse me, it's this one. 34 minutes, because there's 3 tutorials and they're about 15 minutes each. No, they're about 10 minutes each. Sorry. So yeah, that works. So I'm going to put this over into the done pile because that's done. We're going to deal with this tutorial publish date. And did I write anything? Pre-fill the time date picker. Well, actually, we're going to change this to remove this field. Okay, so we need to, as we've done before, we need to remove the property from the entity. We need to remove the field from the form. We need to fix the unit tests. I think that's right. Yeah. And we may need to, oh yes, we also need to update the data fixtures, fixtures, and we need to update the test DB. Okay, so just by removing that one thing, it has a repercussion of all of these. All right. So here we go. We're going to remove the entity. That's what we're going to do first of all, the property from the entity. So let's go over to here. It's in src. It's in entity, and it'll be tutorial. Let me do a reverse search. Not a reverse search. Well, it is a whatever. What did I call it? Publish date. Get publish date. There we go. So that and that can go. The property should also go as well. Let me scroll this to the top and type in published date. There we go. That can go. And anything else? Nope. That's clean. The Tilidon's asking, why will you remove the create publish date? I'm a friend of knowing when I create the thing. Yeah. So yeah. Gotcha. Good point. So we've got a trait here called trait timestampable, and this has, if I can get into it, it has an updated date and a created date, a creation date. So we've got that, and this is based on when the entity was created. But for a tutorial, there isn't a need. I'm just trying to think of ways to reduce well, there was a bug in the CMS regarding that entity. It's probably going to fail now because I've removed it. Regarding the publish date, and I was going to fix it, but then I've decided that I should remove it because actually the courses should be ordered by the publish date of the course and not, of course, of the tutorials. Hence the need for removing it. It's just it's technical debt. Essentially, it boils down to that. Okay, so that's what we're going to remove. And let me see. Yeah, okay, that's good. That should be fine. All right, let's click on to here. And let's edit that. Let's change this to be strike through. That's what we've done. Okay, remove the field from the form. That's the next thing. So let's go over to the form, which I believe is in, well, form. And it's the tutorial type. And it's the duration publish date is this one. There we go. Okay, so that's now removed. We're now going to update the unit tests. So yes, this is going to be the thing that breaks, I think. So I need to remind myself. Let's do an open here. Tutorial. Yeah, actually, there's another one, isn't there? It's not just that. It's also remove from remove the field from the API response. Yeah, let's do that. So that would be src, it would be schemas, and it would be tutorial schema. Do we have, we've got updated, we've got, yeah, published. That can go. Yes, I want to edit that. Okay, that's looking good. Let me also see as well, excuse me, in response in JSON API, JSON encoder, is there anything in here to do with, well, let's just search for published date. This is on the course. Tutorials, display order, premium URL. Okay, yeah, good. Good, okay, I think that covers the API. We'll run the tests, obviously. Make sure that those tests work after we fix them. So that would be in tests. It would probably be a unit test. Well, let's just search across the board for published. It's obviously going through the coverage as well, which is annoying. I kind of want to do it. I'll do it just on accept. Well, have we got any? No, we don't have any acceptance tests. We'll do it on the API. This one, it's probably easier to navigate, finding path. Okay, that's only on the course test. On the course, and let's have a look. That's an attribute. That's the published date of the course. That's fine. Okay, let's. We don't have any functional tests. Do we have anything in the integration? Let's find that as well. Nope. Anything in the unit test? We've probably got something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's the author. That's the course. It's the tutorial. So yeah, let's get rid of that as well. Yes, I want to edit that file. That's done. That's done. That's done. And this. That's done too. And this one. Get rid of this. And this one. Tutorial schema test. Yeah, we've removed that. And this one here. Yep, that can go. And this one is on the return of entity provide. Yeah, that can go too. Good, okay. Now let's do the update data fixtures. So the data fixtures are up here. And I've just realized I'm doing this in the develop branch. That's foolish of me. We'll change that in a minute. It would be that one. Yeah, it would be that one. Okay, let's remove that. Off you go. Tutorial fixture on here. What's this? This tutorial, yeah, that goes too. Just want to double check something. That up there. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yes, because that creates the published date. That sets the published date. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is run the tests and just make sure that everything works. and then I'll do the update. Let's just quickly put this in a new branch. So this is bug tutorial fix dates fix tutorial published date. All right. Okay. Okay. Cool. So then come out of that and then do make tests. And whilst this is going through, I mean, it's going to do a whole bunch of stuff. So whilst it's going through, let me just, first of all, let's just make sure that PHP stand works. No, it's failing. Call to undefined method. Okay, so we've missed a few. Oh, that's annoying. Set publish date on the entity. I thought we cleared that up. Oh, and of course we need to do the managers. Foolish. Okay, this is line 222 on tutorial entity. So look for tutorial entity, and it's line 222. Aha, pre-persist. And I think that was what the bug was about. It was persisting the date time. That was what the bug was about. It was changing the anyway, that can go. Yeah, because what was happening, you see, is that when we were saving, it was the publish date was being overwritten. And I think it was this. Anyway, whatever. What's the next one? Manager, tutorial manager, line 39. Okay. Tutorial manager, line 39. Aha, gotcha. Here. And I need to put that into there. Let's run the tests once more. That's good. Now the reason why this is excuse me, not working is because the database now needs to be changed because we've altered the entities. So to do this, we would, let's clear the screen down for a mo. We would get into the container. So docker exec. Well, I might be able to do a reverse search of just bash, to be honest. Although that's the gateway. That's not what I want to do. I want to go in as docker-compose exec API bash. There we go. And we need to run bin console. And I've forgotten it. It's something like doctrine migration diff or something like that. What are we doing here? It's migration status, migration latest. I'm sure there's a diff. There we go, migrations diff. Okay, so let's run that. And then we'll review the change. So that would have created a file out of src, I think. Or is it in src? Migrations, here we go. This one. Okay, so add SQL alter table tutorial drop publish date. That looks good to me. And then on down, so when we roll back, it should put it back. So add tutorial date with the default of null. That's correct. Yes, that's correct. So we should be able to run this now with migrate. Yes. And also what I'm going to do, we've got a nice little command in bin, I believe. It's rebuild the sh. Bin rebuild. Oops. Although I can't seem to do it from the container. Let me see if I can do it from here. Actually, I've got a make file which will have that. It's something to do with db. Where are we? It's that test backup. It's that, and there's also test reload. So there we go, db test reload, and then we need to do a db test backup. That's what we need to do, because that will do the rebuild of the database with the new fixtures. And then once the fixtures are in, we need to then put in the database to the dump for the test to work. That's what we need to do. So we need to do first up. What do we need? Test load, db test load, and then db test backup. All right. Make db test load. And then fingers crossed, this all the fixtures will work. Sweet. And then what we do is test backup. Groovy. Okay, which means now, if we clear the screen down, we should be able to do make tests once more, because we've just updated the database schema, and then we've repopulated it with all the new fixtures, which no longer have the tutorial publish date, and then and which means that the hopefully the database schema is now in sync, which is great. And then now it will clear the cache, and it will run through the tests. And some of the tests, the API tests and the integration tests at least, do touch the database. That's why we needed to do that dump. So the Tildon's saying, is this a database revisioning tool? Is this in Symfony, or is it an external tool? So this is in Doctrine. This is in Doctrine to do the migrations. And what it does is it compares the mapping of your entities compared to the mapping in the database. And if it sees that you've changed the entity and you haven't changed the schema to match, it will flag that up. So what we had, I think, is a test here to check the schema validation. That is this command here. So what I'm running is this make tests command, which is running a whole bunch of, well, it's my whole test suite, to be honest. And it looks like it's working. It's going through okay. So these are making actual API requests, and for every API request, for every test, it's tearing down the database and bringing it back up again, just so there's because this is altering and changing the data. Cool. Whilst this goes through, fingers crossed it's going to work, I'm going to take a look at some other issues. Now, I can't touch the CMS whilst this is happening, because if I do, it'll freak out because I'm dropping the database for every test. But what I could do is I could at least take a look at the staging site. That's what I could do. Yeah, I tell you what. Before I go any further, I'll show you something, Tildon. I'll show you something. Let me jump into here. Actually, probably this view's a little bit easier. Let's just bring that back to the top here. Yeah, give me a second. I'll just show you something. Eval. And if we did a bash into the API again. Oh, I need to be in the directory, don't I? Of course. Do a bash, and then if I did a docker, if I did a bin console. So these are all the commands that you can make with this Doctrine So doctrine migrations dump, so they're dumping the schema. You can execute a single migration. You can generate a migration, so that's just generating a migration file. This gets the latest. This is pretty cool. The status, if I was to run that, now, I don't know if this is going to screw up because yeah, here we go. Cool. So it says that there's 16 executed migrations. There's 16 available migrations, but there's no new migrations. It gives me the date in which the previous versions happened. And it says that we're already at the latest version. Yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff. And of course, the migration files themselves are in migrations in here. So these are just sort of SQL statements. So add SQL, alter table. Let's pick one that's a little bit more. So this is changing. I was changing. What's this? The dropping indexes on image, altering the table, dropping document file ID. Yeah. So this is basically my history. Let's go back to where it all began. So this is the first ever migration, and it's pretty big because I built all the entities, and then I did a migrations diff, and of course I didn't have a database, so it went, oh, you don't have any of this, so we'll create you a migrations file, and if for every line is a SQL statement, and then what happens is so you've got an up here. So this is what happens when you do a migration up. So when you upgrade it to the next migration, this is what it will run. But if you need for any reason to roll back, it's doing exactly the same but in the opposite, right? So for example, let's go for the first one here. We're creating the table access token in this statement, and then in this statement right at the bottom, the opposite would be alter table access token drop foreign key. And then this is dropping all the foreign keys down here, and I think at some point it will drop the table. Yeah, drop the table access token. Yeah, and it means that I have the ability to roll it up and roll it down. It's quite powerful. It's quite powerful. Now I've already got it working on. I've got a deployment script for staging, which will detect whether there is a migration that needs to be ran, and then we'll run it. During the whole migration, which is why we run these tests. Which seems to be good. What I'm going to do now, though, oops, come out of that. What? No. Oh, that's fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the staging site, because I can't really touch this data, but this thing here. Whilst I'm doing all those database operations. And then I want to just document some bugs. Is there a way to get the data in the entities with Doctrine, something like a test database, or is it? Yeah, that's a great question. So definitely. So this is what the data fixtures do. So the data fixtures, let's say, for example, let's pick on one, tag fixture, for instance. So it's a class, and this class just has an array of data. So it's an array of an array, so multi-dimensional. So each tag has a name and a slug. And then what we do here, so this has to extend Fixture, which is a Doctrine bundle mechanism. And then what it does is you have to put in a load, and I'm looping through each one of the items here to pull out the single element, and then it's instantiating a new tag entity, setting all the various bits and pieces, and then persisting it. And then the clever thing with the fixtures is that you can add a reference. So this would be tag underscore and then the tag name. So each reference needs to be unique. A better example, actually, I can show you is the course and the tutorials. So what I've got here in the course fixture, so again, a whole bunch of data. Now, you could argue that that really should be somewhere else, to be honest, but anyway. And then this sets up the entities, and what it's doing at where am I? The point where it gets to the so this creates a course. It also sets the author and the supplier, but don't worry about that. The thing that I want to show you is this reference here. So course underscore and then the slug. All right, and it knows that to run the tutorials, which is here, tutorial fixture, it knows in this get dependencies that the course fixture must be executed first before the tutorial fixture gets processed. So it's got some intelligence, so you can actually write down what entities need to happen first, the referential data, I guess. And then what we're doing at this stage here, when we assign the course, where are we doing that? Here we go, sorry. We can then do this get reference, get the course, and that will be that string there will be the same string as this string, because in the configuration where this is all set up, excuse me, that's already been mapped. And then what we're doing is we're setting, if there's an instance of entity course, then we set the course, and that's how it works. No worries about interruptions. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I love talking about this stuff, as you can probably tell. Yeah, and to sort of just round that off, if we go to the command again, so if we go back to here and then jump into the bash, and then if we ran, let's not run that. Let's run this with this console command. You can do like doctor in and then just leave it, and it will just throw up commands that start with doctor in, which is pretty good. So then you're not having to look through the noise. There is one. Here we go. Fixtures load. So it will load all those fixtures. And I'll show you actually something which I've got here. So I did the rebuild. I'll show you that. If we did db rebuild, this is essentially my script for rebuilding the database. It drops it, it then creates it, it then migrates the database, and then it loads the fixtures. And that's how, and that's how it works. There's also another script I've got here which just handles the migrations. So this assumes that the database is there. Cool, okay. Excuse me, my throat is getting... This is why I have 2 drinks on every stream. It's like a... Yeah, so okay, that's good. We'll keep running through this. Where are we at now? We're still doing the API tests, are we? These do take time, like quite a lot of time. It's because I'm in dev mode. It's because the autoloader hasn't been optimized. It's because it's dropping the database and recreating it each time. So it will take some bits and pieces, but these are important tests. Yes, so let's get to staging, shall we? So staging in -CMS. This shouldn't take time because this is in production mode. What I want to do is take a look at this form. So we're going to remove that. The display order's fine. That's fine. That's all good. Let's take a look at the course. Let's edit the course here. Yeah, there's no need for views. That can go. Okay, so we'll drop that. Let's go to here and create a new bug. Remove views from course entity. Let me just double check that that is actually a thing. I'm not making an assumption here. Let's go to the entity, go to course, and we've got title, code, subtitle, content. Do we have views? Yeah, we've got views. Yeah, so that can go. The reason why is because we have course view, which will is a view based on the count of your user and the course. So there's no there's no need for that. Remove views from entity, and again I'm gonna put this as an active sprint. Let's just create that for a minute and click on this one and take all of this, because it's probably going to be all of this stuff. That's already done. We're just running the test to make sure that this all works. It kind of follows the same pattern. But there's more to this, because we remove the property from the entity, remove it from the form, but we also need to remove the field from the show page in the CMS, because I think, if I remember rightly, if we come out of this and we hit view, we should have, yeah, views there. That can go. Now, that's an interesting thought. Is the same thing in the tutorials for the publish date? If we hit show, we've got active, we've got publish date. Yeah, there's one more thing that needs to be removed. Yeah, good spot. Okay. So there's one more thing that I need to do with this here, and that is to remove the field from the show page in the CMS. Hey, that's an awesome username. I'm going to try and do it. Nucleusum. Thank you very much for following. Hello, hope you're doing well. You set the emotes off. Woohoo! Okay, so that's in the... I can't spell. Having difficulty today. In. Save that. Okay, how are we getting on with these tests, eh? What's going on? Oh, they're done. Let's get rid of this screen. Okay, so 253 tests now, because we've removed tests because of the publish date. So this would, all the units would have passed. They are. All the integrations have passed, and all of the APIs have passed. Sweet. Good. So we haven't broken anything. That's the most important thing. However, we would have broken the show page if we took a look at that. That would be think. Come on, Pete. It would be in templates. CMS tutorial show. We're looking for published date. That can go. All right. So I'm going to just run this as by eyeball on the local CMS. So we'll start from here. Again, this does take time, but we'll just eye it. I know that all the tests now run, but I just want to eye this thing. It's logged me out because, of course, the database was removed. So my access token would have gone. Ah, well. Come on. Oh, no, there's a problem. There's a problem. There's a problem right there. And I reckon I know what that is, but let's just see in the logs. Make log critical. I mean, one thing that we haven't done at all is, it's a twig issue, is that we haven't got any tests for the content management system. And the reason behind this is because it's only going to be me who's going to be using that CMS, and some lucky individuals that I've chosen to do content stocking for me. So it's not a public facing thing, essentially. I'm going to lock it down by IP. Okay, so this is, it's the index.html, which is this one. It's because there's a published date, I think, in here. Yes, there is. I forgot all about that. Which also means that this is for the views. I'll double check a minute. I'm multitasking now. Right, first up, let's make sure that page works. Now I've removed this. And then I think we need to do the same thing for the course. Yeah, it does. So that's now done. The updated dates are blank because we haven't updated anything at all. This is a fresh database with the data fixtures just being populated. But I just want to double check something. This is the staging site, and if we go to courses, we're removing the view from here. So if we hit courses, the views, yes, there's views here. So we need to do the same thing. If we go over to here, let's come out of that, and it's this bug here. So remove field from API, remove field from, can I edit that please? Thank you. Copy that. Remove field from index page. Yeah. Okay, good. Yep, that seems fine. All right, let's continue eyeing this up. So first up, let's hit show. We shouldn't have the published dates at all in show. This is how it's going to be, isn't it? This is how it's going to be. And now I'm starting to think that I need to put some tests into the content management system. But it's a thing about time for me. I don't have time to do it. Critical. This is the subtitle issue. This bug relates to, and this is another issue, isn't there? This is can't show tutorial in CMS. All right, let's take a look at that. I put down the error here, and which is the error that we've got here. So let's fix this. Get subtitle, and it's in entity exists. Where are we coming from? Show.html. Yeah, we remove the subtitle, so that can go. It's going to be one of those streams. I mean, to test the CMS, I would have to. It would be a big task, because I would essentially have to write an acceptance test to go through all the forms, make sure all the pages work. It's something that I would love to do, definitely. But because it's only me using this tool, I'm more than happy to just work around it, like fix these issues when they crop up. But I think I'm going to have to revisit that decision at some point. Okay. So, cannot So this is done. Okay, so tutorial publish date, this is what we're working on. And I want to make sure that we can do the various things. See, an automated test would do this for me. So it's one of those arguments. It's like I don't have time to do it right now, but it actually makes time. It saves time in the long run. What I want to do is create edit, and we're going to just press update to make sure that it runs through. We'll put some data in, I suppose. Let's just put in like a load of exclamation marks here. So we don't have that anymore. Let's hit update on this. Hey, YG Dev, thank you very much for joining. What's up? What's up? I'm working on the new How to Code Well platform that I've been building for the past 3 odd years. It's a Gatsby front end. These are all of my courses that I've created, or some of them, not all of them, at least. And it's this site, by the way, this site replaces this, or will replace this, and this is a laughable excuse now for a website. So here you've got Docker Motion, hands-on microservices and stuff. This is the stuff I've done for other publication jobbies, and you got some Udemy courses there too, and other bits. But it's littered with adverts. I really don't like it, and also it's got a very small selection. If I hit View All, it's got a very small selection of courses that I've done. So this, by the way, is built in Symfony, but it doesn't have a content management system. It hasn't got an API. It's all hard-coded in Twig. It's a nightmare. Whereas this is Gatsby on the front end. It's got a CMS as we've been working through, and it's Symfony. It uses an API. There's a fair amount of tests so far. Not as many as I would like, but tests at least. Yeah. Is it open source? No. No, it's my pride and joy that I've been working on for a long, long time. No, it's not open source. It's my own little platform that I'm still going to push all of this stuff to YouTube, but I would like to have. I've got some courses that I would like for paid for courses as well. That I would. This is my platform. Essentially, this is what I want this to be. My little platform. I just feel like I've been working on this for. Well, I have. I looked at the one of the old Git commits the other day, and it was like 2017. I'm a freelancer, so I don't work on this all the time. You know, my day is mostly working on other people's code. So my Git username is How to Code Well. That's the name of everything. So Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. How to Code Well. Okay, so that's the staging site. Okay, so yeah, so you can see I've updated it, so that's added the updated dates. That was saved. That's good. Let's see if we can just quickly create a tutorial, and then I'll mark that bug as done. Foobar. I mean, this will all get removed. Test. This will all get. It was, I don't know, 4 minutes long. I don't think that's let's just pick one randomly. Let's not put it as active. There's no need for that. Let's just put in test in here, and let's just pick on one of the courses, this one for instance, and hit save. This will be removed when we do the data fixture updates anyway, so I'm not really that bothered. I just want to make sure that we can still save it without the published URL, published date. And again, if I was to create an acceptance test for this, it would do all this for me. But if this saves, and it has done, if I can find, where did that go? Foobar here. Yeah, this is another issue with, there's another bug that is addressed. This is because it's using Uu Ids rather than just an ID, it's ordering by Uu Ids. So this is actually, or is it? No, it's ordering by updated date. Of course it is. Yeah. So if I was to edit this again, let's activate this course. This should go up to the top. So if we set active on here and then hit update, this should update the updated date. He says. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so I think I may need to change the ordering to be ordered by creation date stroke updated date. Okay, anyway, I'm happy now for that bug to go. Wow, this forgotten password sprint is basically being consumed by bugs that we're picking up in the from content stocking. I may have to readdress this. I don't think I can do all of this in 8 days. No. Oh dear. All right, I'm going to commit all this stuff. I'm happy with all of this. So what we have here is the change to the dump file for SQL. We've changed the entities and the schemas for the API, and then obviously the form, the manager. I'm just saying this to refresh my memory, and then the templates. So this is removing the published date from the tutorials, and also fixing the show template fixing the show templates due to issues with the subtitle. Let's hit commit. Good. Okay, so there's only a few minutes left of the stream. Unfortunately, I do need to crack on and carry on with some freelance work. So I'm not sure I'm going to get a chance to work on this. So I think what I'm going to do is just in staging is hunt for other issues. There was one, wasn't there? We were just looking at. It was this. The ordering is wrong. I reckon if I go over to the code and have a look at the controller for CMS, it would be CMS tutorial. It'll probably be for the course as well, but we should be it's updated date. I reckon if we had another one in here that was created date, that would work. So let's put in a bug for that as well. Order, let's just put in CMS. Order tutorials by creation date and then updated date. This created tutorials are randomly listed in the index page as they do not have a updated date. Okay. Whoops. Let's grab that and let's create another one, and let's assign this to me. Let's set this to the current sprint. Let's create that. Let's paste this in, created courses, because it's the same thing. I'm sure of it. Let me have a look. I'm 100% sure. Yeah, updated date. Created courses are randomly listed in the index page as they do not have the updated date. So CMS order. Oops. Courses by creation date and then updated date. Yes. That's all good. Cool. That should be fine. We'll put those into... Well, I'll take this out of progress because I won't be working on this in this stream, unfortunately. But yeah, there'll be the next things to do, and then we plow on with the features. So the plan was, if anybody has joined the mailing list for How to Code Well, I put in every week. I write a little bit about the progress of this project. It keeps me on point, you know. It keeps me on point. And I did mention I did a whole podcast. If you had a look at the podcast site, howtocodewell.fm, I did a roadmap. I did a podcast about the roadmap for this project, because ideally I want this live in by the end of the year. I don't want to be doing this again next year. Like, I want to be working on a live site next year, not, you know, tinkering with this. This is I want to move away from a side project that never gets released to a project that is live and that is actually being used. But I mentioned that in September, the plan was that we were going to do content stocking in September. And I'm glad we brought it forward to now. At the start of this project, we only had like 3 tutorials in here. But I'm glad we brought it forward, because it's thrown up all of these issues, all of these errors, and also it makes me feel like there's progress with the project. I'm not just looking at code all the time. I'm actually seeing a final product being created and built. So I'm really happy with the way that this is going. And I think what will happen is over the course of the next few streams, we'll change the way, we'll fix the bugs first, and then we'll go through the features. And I think it's going to be more geared towards things that are, getting it into sort of a production ready approach, that kind of thing. Because there's some features in here that still have rough edges that need to be addressed. Hey Natsak, thank you for joining today. I hope you're well. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pleased. I'm very pleased. I'm proud of this. This is essentially, like, when I look at this, it's essentially looking at my life's work for How to Code Well, at least. Yeah. It's good. It gives me an oomph, a drive. And I'm so glad we decided to do this in sprints as well, because this is really making me carve out the features and keeping me on track. So yeah. So I've been working a lot with writing scripts recently in PHP. Nothing to do with How to Code Well. So this is a bit of a welcome respite, actually looking at some visuals and making things look pretty, or prettier. Of course, though, if we because I've just rebuilt the database many times, this will be destroyed if I was to go to what I need to do is rebuild this in Gatsby. So we'll come out of this. Oops, no, that is a window. Let's close that down. Yeah, we need to rebuild this. Install local dev. And it'll rebuild from the fixtures, not from the changes that I put in. So we'll go back to what it used to be. Which is a shame, but it's good to get back to that point. I have a script as well that will get the database from staging and pull it down and then import it into the API locally. So now I've got to be very careful because I'm now working with two databases, one on staging and one locally. And of course, the local one now has a change, has a migrations change. So I've been doing a whole lot of DevOps in the background of this project, off stream, to make sure that things are synchronized. So when deployment scripts go, it identifies the fact that there is a migration waiting, and it runs that. It just means that I have to be super, super careful because I know that this migration is going to drop that published date field, which means it's going to do some data removal. So I need to be super, super careful. So I have backups running on that as well, just in case I screw anything up. So I'm kind of trying to get my mindset into trying to make this more of a production pipeline type approach. You know, trying to make it a bit more robust, trying to limit the amount of times that I'm jumping on the staging box and hacking around on the command line. So if we were to rebuild this again, it would look a little different. It'll look different because the images weren't pulled down. So I need to fix that. Yeah. Oh, it looks so bad. It looks so bad. Because the images, the data fixtures, I'm gonna have to put this in as a bug, I think. It's the first time I've done that. Yeah, the data fixtures for the course. Where are we? Course fixture. There should be an image entity somewhere. Image, yes. So it's pulling down these images which are wrong. Yeah. But it's okay because I got backups. It's fine. I've got the backup latest is the latest from the staging site, which has those. So if I was to do something like make db import, for instance. Oh, sorry. Cool, and then come out of oopsie, I need to come out of that. There we go. And then do a make install local dev. Now I'm not sure if this is going to work because those published dates have been removed, and so the database that I'm now using is the database that was backed up last night on staging, and this will have those tutorial those published dates. I think it will work because I'm not running through any kind of this isn't actually touching upon the published date, so I think it will work. Fingers crossed. I think what I should do as well as a task is to go through, because if we had a look at here, there really isn't all the tutorials aren't there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 tutorials. Courses, 4 courses there. So I think a task for me is to, maybe this weekend, is to actually go through the data fixtures and see if we can marry the data fixtures up to more closely represent the what's on staging. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. But the data fixtures here with the course fixture, these are the only courses, and some of them are set to not active, meaning that they're not showing on the front end. But that's a bit of work. I would have to go through each one of these and then sort of match them up. So that's a wee bit of work. I'm kind of coming away from the need of these fixtures now, aren't I, really? Although I do need them because I need some form of baseline for the tests because some of the tests expect, say, this ID of the course to have it set to false in the active. Anyway, that's done. So if I was to refresh this once more, there we go. You see them all populating now. Yeah. So there's a divergence now between the staging site and the local development site. Natsak's asking, what is a fixture? That's a very good question. So a fixture is it is a way of adding data into a database in development mode. So data that you've already defined. And I use it for testing purposes. So I know in my tests, when I run the tests, I know that there is data in the database. So if the tests were to touch the database, I know that the data is there, which means that I can test the database interactions and stuff. And it also just populates the front end, only locally, of course. Yeah. I went through doctrine fixtures and migrations earlier on the stream, so if you want to skip back a few, probably about 10-15 minutes ago, I went through that. It's now 8:30, which means that unfortunately I need to shoot off because I need to get my breakfast and then start work. So thank you ever so much, everybody, for joining today. I really appreciate the questions and the suggestions. It was awesome. Thank you also for following as well, if you're new here. I do appreciate it. And I will see you again on Thursday. Thursday at 2100 hours, so 9 p.m. British summertime. And we will continue down this merry journey. There is some of these bugs that I need to address and fix. Thank you ever so much for watching. Happy coding, everybody. Have a very nice day. See you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.